Coach, welcome back. What's the biggest challenge for you blending so many new pieces in with the core that you've already got in place?
Up to this point, defense. So, Taylor Mikesell, a couple weeks ago let me know that she's never played man-to-man defense. She sat in a zone defense her entire high school career. So when you look at some of those deficiencies right now on the floor defensively, we've spent more time there, and it probably doesn't look like it at this point. So that's going to be a work in progress for us, throughout this season. But we will get there. They're fast learners.
Ava? Coach, you talked about bringing back 75% of the offense from last year. Do you expect with the new guards that you're bringing in particular, and Shanice having a year under her belt now, to be able to do more with that offense? I know you guys like to push the pace. Is that what you're hoping to do?
Yeah, I think a big piece for us, as I look on the floor, is we have more weapons, and we have obviously more scorers. I look at the ability to shoot the three right now is very high for us. When you look at Taylor, when you look at Sarah Vujicic, they're able to expand it. And then when you look at our post game right now with Brianna Frazier and Stephanie Jones, Kala Charles, and Shakira Austin, just having that inside-outside combination is going to be key. And then I think that the obviously, another key element for us is Blair Watson, is how quickly we need to get her back on the floor, but we can't rush that process for her coming back. So, she just brings probably even more when you talk about defensively, how she can guard for us as a junior, and her passing ability and her ability to shoot the three.
Coach, can you just talk about your thoughts on Christy Tolliver being named the assistant coach of the Wizards, and has she asked you for any advice?
Christy came back and had shared the news with me about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, just thrilled for her. I think, she grew up with the game, her and her dad, so, it's a natural transition for her, the success that she's had in the WNBA in her career, and I think it's a perfect fit. So I know she's really humble and she's hungry. She had already told me what she was already learning, and I think it's a tremendous transition for her.
Coach, you talked about Kyla already with adding more size to this roster, where you can slide her up and down a little bit more. Are you looking forward to the type of stress that can put her on opposing defenses where they can't load up on her as much?
I know she is as well, yes. They were obviously able to do that. So when you have a Taylor Mikesell and a Blair Watson out there, she's going to have a lot of success. And we found, obviously, with her in the open court, she's so dynamic. It's really hard to be able to keep up with her. But I do think on the offensive end in the half court, it is going to allow her the freedom and the flexibility to kind of move around, where she's not going to be double and triple teamed this season.
Coach, another exciting year coming up ahead in the Big Ten. With the transition, how do you feel you've adapted your program to compete in the Big Ten, and I guess how has the conference adapted themselves to compete with Maryland over the years?
Yeah, I likened it. I think back to when I first got here to Maryland, and Gail Gustin-Course and Duke was the standard, and I remember how we all had to kind of adjust to that standard. And again, you remember in 06, 4 years later when we won the national championship. So that program made us better. And I think we've done the same as we've gone into the Big Ten and, been able to elevate the play. You do see teams now that are hungry, that are prepared. Last season they were able to come in here on occasion, which we didn't like, but get some wins here at Xfinity, going on the road. We get everyone's best shot, and that's where you want to be as a program, but also at the same point in the conference is that you're helping elevate every team's play.
Ava? You mentioned the experience that Kyla gained as a leader last year. Is there a step you're looking to see her take this year as well? Is there something you're expecting from her?
One of the things, it's a great thing, and you see this with all your best players, is their passion, their emotion, their competitiveness, and they're fiery. And I could name a list that I've been fortunate to coach. And I think the last step for Kyla is to kind of channel that emotion in the heat of the battle. So bad call that she might not necessarily agree with, she's got to channel that a little bit better. And that's that last step for her. But I would much rather have to dial someone down than have to dial them up. And, that's the area for us as a staff that we want to complete for her.
How much more comfortable are you going into this season compared to last year where there was maybe some more instability with your roster, more question marks?
I don't know if a coach is ever comfortable going into a season, because I think we always see our holes and our weaknesses and want to make sure nobody else sees them. But yeah, we are able, I think the ones we couldn't cover up last year, we've been able to fill. And so when you look at our size and you look at our three-point shooting ability now, the experience at the point guard position has drastically improved. And, I think the last piece for us is getting Blair Watson completely healthy. And that's the piece that's still missing. Fortunately, we have some time, but that's the piece that will make us completely whole.
Coach, at times last year with Stephanie, we saw when she's been more assertive, you guys are a different team. At times, is that something you guys have kind of talked to her about, or should we plan to see her be a little bit more assertive this year?
Yeah, I think we always want to push that as a coach. I think for her now, it's just become that growth and experience factor. She's now a junior, and now it's really the light bulb's gone on. She's owning it, and I think that's kind of the fun piece. Is she's been so dominant. She's that player that we can't take off the floor when you talk about defensively being covering everybody up. Offensively, her efficiency very similar to her sister. She doesn't take bad shots. She's very selective in the shots that she takes. So I'm looking forward to the year she's going to have.